AITAH for telling my boyfriend I'm getting on the plane without him after he slept through the flight, forgot his ID, and expected me to fix everything for him anyway. My boyfriend and I planned a trip for the end of the summer months ago. Last night we were still trying to decide how we'd get to the airport when my mom told me that she could take us before work. I told my boyfriend, who lives 30 minutes from my house, to be at my house no later than 6 a.m. for my mother to drive us to the airport at 6:15. He promised that he would be there around 5:45. This morning, he was nowhere to be seen or heard from until around 6:20. He told me that his phone fell and he didn't hear it. By then, my mom had to leave and take just me, or she'd be late to work. I told him that he should drive to the airport or get an Uber. His mom decides that she will drive him an hour to the airport, since he was too late for my mom to take us. He gets to the airport a little after me and I check in our bags. We get to the bag drop, and he realizes he does not have his ID. His wallet is at his house, which is about an hour from the airport. I tell him that I'm going to continue to Transportation Security Administration and go to the gate. His mom is going back to get his wallet, which will obviously take a while. I tell him that I'm getting on the flight regardless, and that if he misses it then, it's a result of his own mishaps. He then begins to ask me what to do if he misses it. I tell him that he's an adult and should figure out a way to make it to our destination by contacting customer service. I planned everything for the trip down to the flights and travel arrangements. I feel like at this point, I've done all I can do to ensure a successful and smooth trip, and I don't feel as if it's my responsibility to do damage control for him if he misses the flight. There is no refund for the airbnb that we split the price for if we do not go. Relevant comments. Commenter, is he like this in other aspects of life? Honestly, it sounds exhausting. If so, some time alone will help you gain some perspective. Enjoy your trip, alone or otherwise. Op response. He's often late, which is why I told him an earlier time specifically to avoid that. I called him endlessly, and he didn't wake up until way after the time we agreed upon. His mom had to go to him and wake him up. I told her that I was going to leave without him, and she said he was up late. So was I already told him that I was getting exhausted of planning literally everything, and that I want him to begin to take some charge and responsibility, and this happens. Commenter 2. Sounds like maybe he should go on a trip with his mom instead, since she's so willing to put up with his shit. Op response. This is a pattern that I've noticed from her repeatedly. It's definitely making me reconsider some things now. Commenter 3. It feel like you are mothering him, since you need to keep on calling him to wake up and keep up with the itinerary for the trip. Does he always need to keep on rely on people to remind him? Op response. He has overslept and been late for different things on multiple occasions. He does work hard and used to work night shifts, so I let it slide. But he did not work yesterday and took a nap during the day. For context, I didn't take a nap, did errands all day and stayed up late for online class. Still woke up on time. Get on that plane. I'm going to board. When we were checking our bags, he asked me how to put the bag tag on. At that point I was over it and already decided I'm taking this vacation, with him or not. He's actually leaving for Marine Boot Camp on Sept 3, which is why we plan the trip. Op clarifies. I have attention deficit as well, so I understand. I'll forget where I put a hair clip that's in my hair. I tell him to set multiple alarms all the time, and he has an Apple Watch that's never charged. Commenter 4. I have attention deficit, so I completely understand. The issue with that is, he doesn't really advocate for himself. He has struggled with mental health issues and refused to go to therapy. He has cystic acne, and only this year saw a dermatologist because I called around places in our state until I found someone that would schedule an appointment. Mini update 16 hours later. He's here. I told him I don't want to talk about it tonight. Mini update 2 next day. There are no bad vibes. We had a conversation and he agreed with my concerns. Update 4 days later. This is long but asked for. Skip the first body of text if you read the OG post. I think the trip, despite the mishaps and the conclusion that I'm going to come to at the end of this note, was eye-opening for me, and I'm grateful for it. I have had a track record of misjudging and misinterpreting behaviors, and I promised myself that it wouldn't happen again. So I set my boundaries early. The trip began with him oversleeping, and therefore not meeting me at my house to carpool to the airport. Not a heinous act in itself, but something that has happened multiple times on different occasions. Once he finally awoke and met me at the airport late, he discovered that he did not have his wallet. The most important thing to have when traveling. Wondering how someone could forget something so essential, I waited for him to look for it to no avail. He called his mother, blaming her for rushing him in the morning, which could have been avoided by him being a responsible adult and waking up on time, and preparing his things the night before, and not taking any accountability. Luckily, she came to his rescue. But not soon enough. He had to rebook his flight and arrived later that day. In the process, still asking me what gate number the flight was, while the gate number was displayed on a screenshot that he sent me, instead of using the information that I spoon-fed to him. I organized the entire trip, down to transportation, flight, accommodations, and more. I gave him a small ball to carry, and he still dropped it. In the process of dropping that ball, he failed to take accountability for his actions. I should have known how the rest of the trip would go. During the trip, there were multiple instances that solidified the feelings that were already looming. Outbursts of anger that were followed by childlike behavior and excuses. When confronted, there were only excuses and a lack of accountability. All followed by, "But I'm trying so hard. What am I doing wrong?" despite the issue being directly explained. He lost his debit card, and despite my efforts in tracing his steps, calling businesses we visited, and everything, he stormed off ahead of me in range, leaving me behind, walking alone on the street. When I explained why that bothered me and was unacceptable, here came more excuses and rambling about how he didn't mean for it to happen, but still did it. While walking to different restaurants, he cussed at men who'd even look at me, stare them down, and almost cause a scene. He misplaced his wallet before dinner and acted in the same rageful manner, cussing, slamming things, throwing items around, instead of calmly looking for his wallet. I sat there in disbelief, as this behavior had not been something I had seen before. I told him that this was unattractive and demonstrated a lack of control and emotional maturity. More excuses. There are probably more examples that I could use, but they're fleeing my mind. It's the night before departure. I'm in tears. It started at the beach. We decided to take a night swim. All was well until he lost his ring in the ocean. Luckily, I was right next to him, so I was able to quickly use my hands and grab it. He got out to put it in the sand. Smart, right? Once we were done, he got upset that I sent his mom a video of him dancing. I walked away because I didn't want to hear it. He then called me back to tell me that he lost his ring in the sand. We look for the ring. By we, I mean me on my hands and knees, and him walking around with a flashlight. I finally find it. We begin to walk back to the room. I say, "Can I say something serious? I am beginning to feel like your mother sometimes. Keeping track of your things and helping you do damage control." He responds with a lot. How I didn't have to help him. How I don't acknowledge everything he's been doing, like calling Ubers and paying for things. How I'm not like his mom, and how he didn't ask me to do anything. In anger, I tell him fuck you and walk away. Yes, I know this is unkind, and I did apologize for my behavior later. I walk to the room alone. He begs me to talk when he gets there, and I don't want to. I shower and tell him one thing. This trip has really made me reconsider whether I want to be in the relationship. He goes berserk, begging me please to talk to him, saying that I don't acknowledge all the good he's doing, on and on. I tell him that I don't wish to have the conversation, don't wish to be touched, and want to be left alone. Here, I also apologize for my rude words, without making any excuses. He tells me I'm always rude. Prior to dating, I did use harsh words when he showed up to my house unexpectedly, and demonstrated other signs of emotional immaturity and ignored my wishes. He begins to try to hug me. I tell him to get off of me. He continues to touch me as I try to lay down in the bed, trying to hug and hold my hand. Here, I break down in tears. I run to the bathroom and begin to sob. I come out as he's continually crying and begging me to talk to him. He begins to raise his voice and make a scene. I run to grab the pull-out bed from the closet to sleep on. He blocks me and pushes the bed, telling me I don't need it. I get increasingly aggravated because I'm being blocked, and tell him to move out of my way and leave me alone. He doesn't, and protests by sitting on the pull-out bed. I rip the comforter off of the actual bed and make a bed on the floor. He takes the blanket and pillows from under me, saying he won't let me sleep on the floor. He continues to yell in my ear for me to get up, that he loves me, put everything behind us, while he keeps pulling the pillow that I reclaimed. He has finally left me alone on the floor, leaving for the airport in 3 hours. Relevant comments. Op clarifies, I was thinking about changing my flight, honestly. I am still trying to figure out the logistics of a breakup, like how and when that could happen. After Op checks on other flights. The flight we have is the earliest of the day. There are others but no confirmed seats, only standby. Commenter 1. That's only going to escalate in future arguments. Get home safe please and never see this man again. Op response. It's concerning because the type of rage that was ignited in me is a type that has only come out with past exes. Being cornered, and my personal space violated is something I just cannot do at all. I will say that I did try to push him out of the way. Maybe I shouldn't have, and raised my voice because I was afraid that his yelling would get us kicked out. Our reservation has a quiet hours policy. Get the hell out of where you are staying. I was thinking about this. The Airbnb is under my name. I already know that I can't really trust him with following the closing procedures, so I'm worried about incurring a fee if he leaves something incomplete. Also, if I get up now, I know he will try to prevent me from leaving. Commenter 2, you had every right to express your anger and frustration. Women are raised from girlhood to be nice, and get along, and keep the peace. The time for that is over. It's now fuck this shit time. Stop being nice, be blunt, be rude if you have to. You need to get him the hell away from you, and you need to never believe his sniveling I'm trying bullshit again. Op response. I told him fuck you earlier, when I told him that I felt like I was his mom, and he said, you didn't have to help me look for the ring, I just asked for help. He said I was rude, and that he would never speak to me like that, and that his friends tell him to leave me because of how rude I always am to him. He also called me rude because I left to the room and had the key, and he had to get someone else to let him in. Commenter 3, if you feel unsafe, record a future conversation and send it to his mom. Op response, I just thought of this hours later, although I do feel like it will not change anything. When he walked away from me the other day, I told her, and she told me to just be happy with him and be in love and work things out. She makes excuses for him constantly. Mini update, a few hours later. I'm at the airport now. When I left, he was asleep. He hasn't messaged me or read my texts, and his location isn't moving, so I'm assuming he's still asleep. Boarding in 10 mins. Several hours later, I left for the airport alone. When I left, he was asleep. When I boarded the plane, he texted me saying that I should have woken him up so that he didn't miss the flight. He said that I should have at least woken him up because apparently his phone was on silent. New update from Op in the comments of this post. Hey, thanks for your support, we did break up. He is leaving in a week.